Hello, everybody. Are you taking up a lot of input in English? That is, you're listening, reading, doing a lot of stuff. Still, you're stuck somewhere. It feels like you're stuck at a particular place. The problem is not what you're doing, the problem is what you aren't doing. That is speaking. Speaking is something that you're not doing. Yes, let me give you the reality check. You might think that you're doing your speaking practice, but that's an illusion. Why it's an illusion? Because it's not taking you anywhere. How much of the speaking practice you're doing, what kind of speaking practice you're doing, it's very important. Do you know that whatever you're listening to, you're reading, you're doing a lot of things to gain English, the input in English is something that's very important, but you're missing out on your speaking. That is creating English output. Something that's extremely important for your fluency, but how to take control over your output, how to take control over your speaking so that you can reach the next level of fluency. What is the correct way and path? Today, I'm here to tell you. So, are you all ready for this? I'm Shivangi Gupta, your CELTA-certified English language tutor, certified by the University of Cambridge, the UK. Before beginning, please subscribe the channel so that you can get all the lessons that I create for you on this channel. Please like the video and share it with your friends too. Now, coming back to today's lesson. Speaking. Speaking is the output that is necessary in English. Speaking is your output in English. Without this output, you cannot reach fluency. Okay, so more speaking, that means more creation. You are creating output in English. More output would then lead to more fluency, which is extremely important. But how does this happen? What you're exactly supposed to do? See, let's take an example of a computer. When you are giving command to a computer, what are you doing? You are sending some signals in the form of data and all that. That's your input. Without the information that you give to the computer, you cannot take out anything. You won't get your results. Even in the search engines, you have to feed in something in that type bar. That's your input. So whenever you're doing something, whenever you're feeding data to computer, that's your input so that you can do what? You can get some kind of output, right? So in a computer, you need to give input to the computer system. The system then stores the data and processes it. Now what is happening with you is, you are getting all the input, you are listening, you're reading, you're doing different tasks in English, right? But this data in English is getting stored at the back of your mind. Just like in a CPU, when you do not do anything about that data, you don't give any kind of command, you don't utilize it, it's there, it's just lying there. The data of English is lying there at the back of your mind. For example, you're memorizing the words, it's there at the back of your mind in the form of a data. But this is not getting utilized, it's not getting processed. Why? Because there is the lack of output. So you need input. If you think that you need to cut down on your input, that's a very wrong thinking. A lot of people think that input is not necessary. Input is necessary. Input is not the problem. Without the input, you won't get the output. The problem is in processing. That's you. That's the computer, your mind, you. You are giving command to your brain to process. You're giving command to yourself to speak. You are at the question, why is this not happening? Because you're not making enough efforts to create the output. All the data is lying dormant in your mind, and then it goes to your bin. Just like in the computer, after some days, everything goes to bin, and from there, it gets deleted automatically. Even in your memory, a lot of things, you're not using it, you're not processing, you're not creating the output. It's going waste. You forget it. That's why you forget a lot of words, a lot of phrases. You're not able to retrieve certain things that you've learned in English because it's lying dormant in your memory. There is no processing, and hence Because of no processing, there is lack of the output. If you focus on creating more output, the processing would happen automatically. Your mind would automatically process the information. The thing is that you must be active enough to create the output in English. When you speak more, you create more opportunity for yourself to increase the level of fluency. Why? Because your mind now knows a lot of things. It's in constant work. The thing is that you have low stakes of speaking, low stakes of speaking, low stake opportunity. What do I mean by that? See, low stake opportunity means you are constantly finding a partner. You have this one big excuse that I do not have a partner. I have nobody to speak with. How would I speak in English then? You yourself are an asset. You yourself have a lot of information. You have to create an opportunity to speak with your own self. Create these opportunities for yourself. Do not just think about that I'm gonna find a partner and I'll be practicing my English with this partner. No, that's not the solution. This partner that you're looking for to speak in English is not the solution. You can create a lot of opportunities within your specific time, your specific routine to speak English by your own self. And you have to look out for the opportunity. For example, simple thing as talking about what you ate in your last meal could be an example, a very good example of practicing your English. You have to find out these opportunities throughout your day. I myself tell you about a lot of solo speaking practice techniques. Like I've made numerous videos on different techniques. In each and every video, I bring to you a new speaking technique. Because I know how you can speak English, how you can practice English by yourself. My professional background allows me to create these techniques for you, and I create a lot of. So I've created a lot of speaking techniques for you that you can use. Plus, if you are not using those techniques because you need to give certain amount of time for them, you need to create a space in your routine, what you can do is you can find some opportunities. What I'm saying, the low stake opportunities. That means you do not have to go out actively to look for a person to speak to. You and yourself are enough to speak, right? So you have to speak with yourself. You have to speak English whenever you find the opportunity. Create these little opportunities. So you can create the opportunities. For example, you're just reading a book. Just don't read a book. Read out loud the book. That is one way to create an opportunity for yourself. Like I told you, you can talk about different aspects of your life. For example, what you had in your last meal could be something that you can talk about. For example, what I had in my last meal, I had Alfredo pasta in my last meal. And that is what you can speak on. Just saying, okay, I had Alfredo pasta in my last meal is not the answer. Okay, I'm gonna give you a demo. So I had an Alfredo pasta, homemade Alfredo pasta, and yeah, that was yummy, too yum. So you need to feel it, be expressive about it. Just I was saying, be expressive, feel it, what you are saying, just feel it. So that is what you have to do. Now it's the time for demo, and here comes the demo for you, the Alfredo pasta. So I had a delicious plate of Alfredo pasta this morning, and it was too yum. It was prepared with this creamy sauce and the pasta all rolled up in the creamy sauce with a lot of vegetables such as sweet corns and broccoli. I used penny pasta to prepare my pasta, and I sprinkled some oregano with a lot of herbs on top of it. It was seasoned with a lot of flavors. So you need to use a lot of vocabulary. Seasoned with, you can describe how delicious it was and how you prepared it. If you went out somewhere, so how was the experience? You have to describe it in details. And through this, you are creating an opportunity for yourself to speak in English. You're creating more output. This is what we need, more output. More output means more fluency. So speaking is the output. Speaking is your key to fluency. This speaking is very important. So you might be doing 100 things, but those 100 things won't pay you that much if you are not speaking. It's like you need both the things, right? Both the things. For example, you also need water to live and you need oxygen to live. You can't choose between them, that whether I would live only on water or on oxygen. You need both. You can't skip any one of these, right? That is how your speaking, that is the output and input works. You can't just work on one single thing, that I'm getting a lot of input and that's it. Or I'm just creating a lot of output, but I'm not thinking anything about the input. That would also not work. You need to find that balance. You need both the things to survive English. Basically, to become fluent in English. That was just an expression that I said, survive English. You don't have to survive a language, you have to live a language. You have to feel a language. You have to speak a language. So that is what you have to do. There is a beauty in the language, and if you can feel that beauty in the language, believe me, nobody can stop you from learning it, from becoming fluent in it, because language is like an art. The more you discover about it, you'll find so wonderful things about a language. Specifically, English is a language which is it's wonderful in itself. It is a language which has been developed through ages. It has gone through a lot of changes. So through Chaucerian age, then the Shakespearean English, we have seen a lot of differences in English. If you go, you will see that there are a lot of differences in the English of old times, then the mid times, the present time, the colloquial English that we use, and then we have all these Gen Z slangs and all that, right? So the thing is that language is beautiful. You just need to create more output. Do not be scared of your fluency of speaking English. Don't be scared. Just do not pay attention to your mistakes, only on your mistakes, but pay attention to speaking it out loud. Speaking more is important. So create more output in English. Creation is important. Creation is what? The output. That is speaking. Writing is also a part of creating the output, but the majority of things that we do in a language is to speak it. To communicate, we speak. So speaking is very important. This is the form of output that we need every day in order to reach the end goal of fluency. So you want to become fluent, you speak more. The more you speak, the more comfortable you will become with the language. That is the key. Now it's time for the special tip of the day from my desk, from Shivangi's desk, and that is your output is very important, like I said, but do not forget to simultaneously pay attention to your input, because your input is equally important. But there should be a balance between the input and the output. Input without your output means nothing. It's like it's a reservoir. You're creating a reservoir, you're creating a bank of the language which is kept dormant in your mind. Now you have to use it. To use it, you have to create more output. So do not be shy of creating that output, that is speaking. Speak more. The more you speak, the more fluent you will become. So pay attention to both input and output, but focus on the output. That's very important. That's it for today. That is it. Now I'm gonna meet you again in a new lesson. Till then, everybody, take care and bye.